He is the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. He's a rare two-time SEC Player of the Year and spent over a decade in the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, Shane Matthews. And presenting the host of the show, with over 25 years of sports broadcasting experience, Terry Norvell. Coming to you from the future Home Loan Studio inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grille. It's time for College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell. Presented by the Allen Law Firm.
And the Super Bowl is set. It is College Sports Today. Of course, we'll talk a lot of college basketball, but we've got to talk some NFL football. The championship games yesterday are complete. We know who will play in Super Bowl 56, I believe it is, as we welcome you to College Sports Today. Thank you to the Allen Law Firm, our title sponsor. We are inside the Future Home Loans studio with that guy, the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. Coach, let's talk a lot of NFL ball here. We know who's in the Super Bowl. The Rams get by the 49ers, Cincinnati, an improbable comeback in the second half. Let's start with your team. You're the team that drafted you third overall in the first round, the San Francisco 49ers. Coach, I still am not sure how San Fran lost that game. I thought they were they had the game, the type of game they needed.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah, they were up 17-7, right?
Yes, sir.
And 3rd and 1, they threw the ball to Cooper Kupp, which they always do. And I mean, he was wide open.
He was.
And the guy chasing him, didn't even look back for the ball. I don't know what happened, but so then it gets 17-14. Then they kick 2 more field goals, but at 3 points separates all the teams the last couple of weeks. You know that?
Yeah.
And then Kansas City, they started out, scored their first 3 possessions, and then only scored 3 points after that, and really screwed up at the end of the half with 5 seconds left.
They really
did,
Coach.
Just kick that one. That's Andy Reid. You don't see him make errors like that, but just kick the thing. Don't take a chance on something bad happening. And 2 touchdown lead at halftime is pretty good. But he said he thought they were going to fire it in the end zone real quick. If they didn't hit it, they'd kick a field goal the next snap with 1 second left or 2.
You got to score there.
Yeah, but
or at least try to score. You know, I mean, even a missed field goal.
Points,
got to get you 3 there. But even if you missed it, they just didn't handle that well, Coach, at all as we jumped to the KC game. And you wonder, Coach, I don't know. Maybe you watched and heard some interviews. Was they threw it to Tyreek Hill in the flat, and the Bengals rallied and tackled him. No timeouts left. Was that the play call? Was the play call in the end zone to a slant and it was covered? And was that just a dump off? I mean, Mahomes had to know the ball's got to go in the end zone. Right?
Well, that's what Andy Reid was hoping. He would fire it in the end zone and try to hit one of those slants, double slant with a guy in the flat. But it didn't look very good, so he fired it out there to Tyreek, and he got tackled and didn't make it. But anyway, that was just one of a whole bunch of plays in that game that Kansas City, unlike them, and unlike Patrick Mahomes. I mean, the week before, he was the best quarterback in the league, and that fourth quarter, man, he made some errors. He made some mistakes. But the Bengals, like I said, they may be a team of destiny.
They might be.
They may win it next week.
They
certainly could win it all. And, in 2 weeks. They play in 2 weeks.
13th.
So it should be a heck of a game.
Staying with that, though, Kansas City, they have that mess up at the end of the first half. They had scored their first 3 possessions and really looked unstoppable. Mahomes was as good as he's ever been those first 3 drives. They have that hiccup, that mess up at the end of the first half, and that led to 4 consecutive empty possessions. That took them into the third quarter. They were off rhythm or off something because they went 4 straight possessions without scoring. And staying with that game, Coach, as good as the Bengal defense was in the second half, as good as a couple of throws that Burrow made, I thought Burrow's biggest contribution were 2 or 3 scrambles. He made 2 or 3 second half scrambles, Coach. He was Houdini. He got out. And he's not quite as elusive as Mahomes, but Burrow did that at LSU. He got out of a lot of issues, and his scrambling was huge in the second half, I thought.
Yeah, he's a smart player, as we all know. He's got a chance. I read in the paper today to be the first guy. I think the first guy ever win the Heisman Trophy, win the college football national championship, and win a Super Bowl.
First quarterback. He'll be the first quarterback. It's been done by Dorsett and Marcus Allen and Charlie. But first quarterback to that trifecta. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what I meant. First quarterback. And I was trying to think of another quarterback that won a national championship and a Super Bowl. And the only one I could think of was Joe Willie Namath. And national championship at Alabama in '64.
Sure he did. Yeah.
They claim it, but there was about 4 teams that claimed it that year. But Alabama's one of them they claimed. They claimed 64, 65. There's a bunch of years in there. They lost one, tied one. But somebody voted them number one. So Joe Willie was on that '64 Bama team.
Yeah, but the trifecta you mentioned was also with the Heisman. Is that right?
Yeah,
it was Heisman.
Joe Willie did not win the Heisman.
Yeah, didn't win the Heisman. Yeah, but boy, Burrow's got it. He's just he's that guy that he'd be tough if you're playing ping pong, 21 basketball. He's that guy. He's very talented, but coach, he's just got that it. But boy, his scrambles I thought were huge in that second half comeback. And then, of course, McPherson bangs in the kick to win it. Did you think in the second half, staying with the KC game, and then we'll get to the 49er Ram game again, did you think that at times in the second half, Mahomes played a little too much hero ball? He took 3 or 4 sacks that sometime, Coach, don't you have to live to see the next play? I thought he tried to play, hero ball a little too much, maybe Mahomes.
Yeah, that's what they were doing early this season, and I think Coach Reed got them together and said, time out, let's quit freelancing so much, and let's run the ball more. And Patrick, if you have to scramble forward, or if you go sideways, get all you can, get out of bounds, which he did very well several times yesterday. But then he started going back and forth and nothing good happened after that.
No, and I tell you, Coach, you played in that league, you've coached in that league. I'll tell you one thing. The NFL defensive ends, they are some nasty dudes. I mean, you're not supposed to be NFL size at 6'5", 6'6", 275, and those guys are running 4.65s. I mean, they're fast and they're long, and they chased him down.
And the quarterback's got to realize, and Garoppolo, that last play where he tried to get out of trouble and threw the ball left-handed or whatever he did. You got to realize, your offensive linemen are doing the best they can. Yeah. And they can't block Sam Darnold and those guys, but maybe two and a half seconds. Yeah. So you better have somebody, after you look downfield, you better have somewhere to throw it and don't start running around. And of course, that was a play that ended the game. And there was still, a minute and a half. Yeah. So they had time to go get a field goal if they don't turn it over.
This next comment, and we'll move on after this back to the 49er Rams game. I say this all the time, but it's hard to win championships. I know that's a basic statement, but it's hard. Here you are. That's a tough swallow for Kansas City yesterday. That was their 4th straight home AFC championship game, and they've gone all the way only one time. It's hard, but they've had 4 in a row at home. And did I read the stat right? The only playoff games Mahomes has lost are overtime games, I think. So they've been right there, but it's generally overtime. But boy, Kansas City, what a tough loss at home. That crowd was wonderful. And tip of the hat to the Bengals, though. They may be a destiny. Coach, 2 number 4 seeds have made it now, I think. I think they're both 4 seeds. The Super Bowl. I think they're both 4 seeds. Yeah. Tough loss for KC, though, and Andy Reid.
Yeah, it was. Of course, I think I read where Andy Reid has lost 4 conference championship games. That's 1 game before the Super Bowl, I think. Maybe 2 at Philly.
A couple at Philly, yes.
2 at Kansas City. But he's always there.
He is.
And another coach that did that was Bill Cowher at Pittsburgh. I didn't realize he had lost 4 championship games before the Super Bowl.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, those coaches sometimes are just not as lucky as maybe the other guy, but to get there that often and so forth is pretty doggone good.
Let's keep it right here. Go back to the Rams win 20-17 over the 49ers. Coach, we sat here last week and talked, and nothing, not like I know anything that anybody doesn't know, but I told you, Coach, Garoppolo scares me. Garoppolo just some of his throws. back foot falling away. He throws a lot of passes in the flat. I mean, he had 2 or 3 passes that were luckily dropped yesterday. He scared me, and not that he lost the game, but boy, they didn't get a lot of great quarterback play out of Garoppolo. Their defense and keeping it low scoring, they've moved on, but it finally caught up with him. He struggled again, I thought, Garoppolo.
Well, he did a little bit, and again, if the 49ers were to win, everybody agreed they would win with defense and running the ball with Deebo Samuel. So they don't depend on Garoppolo to, carry him. But obviously, he hit some passes here and there.
Here and there, yeah.
But not at the end. Nothing good happened for the Niners at the end of the game.
And, we go back also to a defensive play late in the ball game. And I think the defensive back for San Francisco was named Tart, number 3, T-A-R-T-T. He had that interception. It was almost like a punt coming down to him, and it kind of beat him up a little bit. If he catches that, I think the game's over. He drops it, and that gave the Rams life. Coach, we talked also, what about the San Francisco 49er fans that found their way into that stadium, Coach? I heard now it might have been 65-35. San Fran.
Is that right?
There was a lot of red in that stadium.
Yeah, the announcers mentioned that noise you hear is the San Francisco crowd. They got their tickets somehow, but unfortunately for them, it did not make a difference.
So we've got 2 weeks, Super Bowl on February 13th. By the way, I hope I'm not jumping ahead. We may not know all the details, but a big shindig here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, I think, on Super Bowl Sunday. It looks like the plans are being made.
Yeah, we're going to have a watch party up at Visors.
That'll be fun.
I'm not sure exactly what time. I'll be there about 5 o'clock for an hour or so. Super Bowl watch party. They have them all over the country, so we're going to have one here at Visors. I think it's the ticket is all you can eat and drink, something like that.
Details
maybe
coming.
Not eat, but maybe all you can drink.
Yeah, details will be coming, and we'll get it out to everybody. And you can always check the website, the Spurrier's Gridiron Grill website. But remember now, weren't really any Super Bowl parties last year. The COVID and everything. So people are going to be chomping at the bit to get out and get back together for Super Bowl. It'll be fun, as you know what, here at Spurrier's, a Super Bowl viewing party. And that'll come up 2 weeks from yesterday. Coach, did you notice, and we'll take a break, come back, talk some basketball on the other side, but staying with the first game yesterday, they go to halftime, and did you hear about the debacle? The guys are on the field doing their show, and the crowd, the concert in the stadium, they had a huge bank of speakers right behind it. Nobody could hear. Right? Did you see that? It was hilarious.
I missed that. I must have stepped away for that.
Boomer and all those guys were on the field, and I don't know how. There was a concert in the stadium for halftime, and somebody, I don't know how the NFL didn't catch this, they pull a John Deere tractor with a bank of speakers to hit that side of the stadium. I'm sure they had 4 banks of speakers. And I'm telling you, nobody could hear. Boomer at one point goes, "I don't really know what you just asked me." It was hilarious. But Rams, I think, have opened up as about a 4-point favorite, and that'll change over 2 weeks. But the Rams should be the favorite. But boy, the Bengals, I think the Bengals to win it would need what we said last week, the 49ers. The Bengals need a low-scoring kind of a gritty punch-out game, right? They need a grinded-out game in the Super Bowl.
Well, 24-21,
something like that.
2017. That seems to be the scores that both these teams like to hit.
Coach, I guess nothing official, but over the weekend, the big NFL news outside of the games, the Tom Brady announcement or non-announcement. Anything new on that this morning? I haven't heard much. His pops comes out and says, wait a minute, Tommy hasn't said anything official, but it looks like Brady's gonna hang it up. Anything more? I haven't heard anything more today.
Well, last week, remember I said...
Yeah, you thought.
I think he's going to hang it up because he hinted that he may, or he's got to think about it and all that. And I guess one of his close buddies told somebody who told somebody, and... the news people, that's their job to scoop it out. And I guess one of the national broadcast guys came out with it. But anyway, he'll say, when I say it's over, and it's not. But I also read something in the paper that nobody knew about. February the 4th, he's supposed to get $15 million, part of his signing bonus from 2 years ago.
Oh my!
So he ain't going to do anything to February 4th. He'd be a fool to do anything till February the 4th.
That's a good point.
That's only, 3 days away?
Yeah,
so
we're right around the corner.
We may hear something 3 days from now, 3 or 4 days.
You would think so. Aaron says, hey, Coach. Hey, Terry. Aaron, thank you very much for watching here. Let's take a break, Coach. On the other side, let's talk a little college basketball. A lot of basketball over the weekend as we are putting January, last day of January, we are coming into February, and February in college basketball season is like Saturday moving day at the Masters. You got to start really positioning in February. And the orange and blue game, a date has been set. I'll tell you that on the other side. Stay with us. Coach Spurrier's here. It is College Sports Today.
Playing football for 15 years taught me many important things we still use every day fighting for our clients. Things like hard work, toughness, persistence, tenacity. Football taught me when you really want something, you got to be relentless and fight for it every day, not just sometimes. Winning consistently isn't easy. You got to be willing to put in the work and do hard things. I've never taken the easy road, and that's made all the difference in my life. Let me show you what having football tough lawyers can do for you.
All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
Taste the islands and every drop of Vida de Luis tequila. 100% blue agave from Tequila, Mexico. Good vibes.
All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
It's time to thank the sponsors that make College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell possible. Vida de Luis Tequila, the official tequila of College Sports Today. Make sure you ask for Vida de Luis Tequila by name in your favorite bars and restaurants throughout the state of Florida. And of course, with your next margarita inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The official seafood restaurants of College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell can be found up and down the northeast Florida coast. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The proud seafood sponsors of College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell. J.B. Coxwell Contracting, established in 1983 and offering complete site development. Go with the company generally considered the most well-respected heavy civil construction firm in Northeast Florida. Go with J.B. Coxwell Construction. For advertising information to get your business on College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell, simply shoot me an email, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. Again, shoot me, Terry Norvell, an email, and I'll get back with you. That email address again, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. Let's talk some college basketball as we have put the NFL to bed to a degree. Two teams now have moved on to the Super Bowl. Obviously, 2 weeks of hype to get to that. But Coach Steve Spurrier is here. We're at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Remember, open for brunch and a big Super Bowl watch party coming. Listen and look out for details right here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Thank you to our title sponsor, the Allen Law Firm. And, of course, we are inside the Future Home Loans studio here inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, and you see our wonderful sponsors that have made this show happen. By the way, Sliders just about open after their renovations. Any day now, I'll be giving you a lot of information all over the place to welcome the renovated, brand new Sliders Oyster Bar down in Neptune Beach. One of, as you see, many sponsors that make this show go. Coach Spurrier, spent some time talking some basketball and some women's basketball. But before we do that, earlier about an hour ago, UF sent out a release. The Orange and Blue game, Billy Napier's first Orange and Blue game, has now been set. The date will be Saturday, April 16th, 1 o'clock. Saturday, April 16th will be the Orange and Blue game, Billy Napier's first. No broadcast TV details yet. That is forthcoming. But if you want to come over, mark it down. April 16th, that's a Saturday, Billy Napier and the Florida Gator football team. Kind of their first real debut for the Orange and Blue game.
I think it'll be fairly important because he's sort of having tryouts at that quarterback position.
Absolutely.
You know, Emory Jones wants to come back, Anthony Richardson, and
a couple other guys on campus.
Transfer a guy in. I mean, I asked him the other day, I said, you can't coach 5 or 6 of those guys now. And he said, well, we got to make a decision after spring ball.
Yeah.
So this spring game on the 16th could be really important for the quarterbacks
Absolutely.
Anyway.
So that is set if you're making plans. And I went ahead and looked ahead. A lot of fans love the Orange and Blue game, coinciding with baseball or gymnastics or things like that. Gymnastics will wrap up. Baseball is on the road and softball's on the road, so it won't be a little double dip. And a lot of people, sometimes that Orange and Blue game and a good baseball series or a good softball series is so you can take it all in. But the Orange and Blue game, Billy Napier's debut as the head football coach, really the debut, Saturday, April 16th, if you're making plans, 1 o'clock. Broadcast details not yet unveiled, but there'll be some broadcast as well. I want to talk some basketball, the men's variety. But, Coach, you were on hand yesterday. The women, the women's Gator basketball team hosted the #1 team in the nation. South Carolina rolled in. I saw you and your wife, as I was watching on TV, made it over. Talk about the afternoon.
Yeah, we went by and saw Dawn Staley. Of course, we've known her since I think she got the job at South Carolina in like 06 or 07, right in there sometime. And my wife Jerry and I, we'd be there along with about 200 people when she first got started.
200,
and
wow.
now they packed the place. They packed the place, and it seats close to 15,000, especially for big games. But anyway, and then we got a chance to talk to Kelly Ray Finley,
the interim
Lady Gator coach, and her team really played well. The first half, the ball would not go in.
No.
You know how the ball hangs on the rim and either falls in or out? They must have 4 or 5, and every one of them would fall out. And people around said, my goodness, there's a lid on it somehow. But I think we were like we had 3 points in the first quarter.
Tough.
So we got behind by 20 at half and actually beat South Carolina second half. I think ended up losing only by 12. So our team's capable. We're capable, but we just, to beat the #1 team in the country, you got to really play well. And that first half pretty much sealed the fate that we weren't going to win the game. But we do have a good team, and they could make some noise in the tournaments this year.
And a tip of the hat to the players on that team. They've gone through a lot in the last 4 or 5 months with a coaching change and a player or two, got out of there and here and there. It's been a nice job for the head coach and her staff, obviously, keeping that group together. And, man, they have had some big wins. They beat some ranked teams this year.
Yeah, won 5 in a row prior to yesterday. 15-6, probably one of the best records women's basketball has ever had at this stage.
Yeah.
It's the only sport on campus that has never won an SEC title. Only sport on campus. So Kelly Ray has got a chance if she gets the head job, which it appears she's headed that way. It's not official yet, but she's got a chance to do some things that have never been done before here at Florida.
And I know that women's basketball program at Florida has just been that, as you said, the stat right there, it's just been that sport that it starts heading the right direction and something happens. I know it's been a little bit frustrating, but they may have found the right leader and there's women's basketball talent in this state. I mean, there are big time programs that play big time women's basketball at the high school level and even the junior college level. So there's talent here. You just got to get it in Gainesville. Yeah. Speaking of basketball in Gainesville, boy, Florida, the men were halfway to a just butt whipping at the hands of Oklahoma State on Saturday. And Coach White, I don't know if you followed the game or at the game or watched it. Coach White, second half, trailing by 13, really shook up the 5 he sent back on the court in the second half. He sent some guys that haven't seen any playing time, and they played hard, they played gritty, and they turned it into a street fight. And damned if Florida didn't make some shots and pull out a win.
Yeah, it's always interesting how one half and then the next half. Yeah. Sort of like Kansas City went up and down the field yesterday. In the second half, they virtually didn't do anything. And men's basketball, we were down 16 or something.
I think 13 at the half and 16 maybe
13 at
total.
Half, yeah, and come back and won by 9.
One big. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting how you can play so much better than before. Sometimes so much worse than before too.
Yeah, and Oklahoma State, they're not a great team. They came in 10-9, so they're 10-10, and their leading scorer did not play. But that was a nice gritty win. Florida is so depleted now, particularly in the front court with no size to speak of. Jatobo, Coach, it sounds like a serious eye injury. He's out for the year, and you just worry about vision, for the But supposedly Mike White came out and said the eye surgery for Big Jatobo went well. Done for the year, but it went well. Castleton, they're real quiet on the shoulder situation, but boy, he doesn't look like he's anywhere near coming back. So they're going to do it different. They're going to do it with 4 guards and maybe a 6-7 guy in the middle and group rebound and box out and probably take a lot of 3-pointers and just hope they go in sometimes.
Yeah, and play good defense.
Play good defense, sure.
Sort of full court press and this, that, and the other. But, yeah, when that happens, you just adjust. And next man up mentality is what you got to have and go from there.
I think Florida's season in terms of trying to eke their way into March Madness will come down to they've got to they're 2 games under 500 in the SEC. They're 3-5. I think you got to get to 9-9. They've got to get to 500. Florida only has 1 quality win right now, Ohio State, early in the year. Florida State keeps losing basketball games, and that is not good for Florida. Florida thought they had a second quality win over FSU. FSU's going the wrong way. Florida needs FSU to win to qualify that as a Q1 win, but FSU's going the wrong way. Did you follow, though, a good weekend for SEC basketball? The SEC won the Big 12 SEC Challenge 6-4, and Florida helped do that. Did you see where Florida the SEC, actually, Tennessee should have beaten Texas. They lost to Texas, but the SEC beat the Big 12, and supposedly those are the 2 best conferences top to bottom. Good weekend for the SEC. Did you follow that much, Coach?
A little bit. I didn't follow all of them, but, it's neat to do that and go from there.
Kentucky probably, Coach, I think had the best win I've seen all year. The Kentucky Wildcats went into Fog Allen. At Kansas. Kansas ranked 5th in the nation. Kentucky absolutely undressed Kansas from the opening tip. I thought it was the best performance I've seen all year, good versus good. Kentucky's playing real good basketball. Auburn's playing real good basketball. They're number 1 team in the nation in one of the polls. The most schizophrenic team, Coach, that's going, and they come out of the SEC, Alabama. Nobody can figure Alabama out. Alabama has 3 ugly losses, Georgia, Missouri, and Memphis. Yet Alabama, they've beaten number 2 Gonzaga, number 4 Baylor Saturday. They've beaten number 7 Houston. That was the poll from this past week. Alabama is the most schizophrenic team. But the SEC is tough in basketball. Switching back to the NFL real quick. I didn't have any source or anything on this, but I've been saying for a couple of weeks, it just feels like Jim Harbaugh is about ready to jump back into the NFL. Word is, Coach, he's talked to a couple teams, and I think Harbaugh is ready to jump back into the NFL.
Yeah, I think he's ready. So, he's got to have an offer first. But maybe
supposedly
he'll get
talked
one.
to Miami and Minnesota. Supposedly 2 programs.
Yeah, maybe he'll get one. Yeah. But the college game now, if there's a coach that had a choice, NFL or college, with all the transfer portal and all the recruiting and all this, that, and the other, I've heard a lot of coaches say your way of life is a little bit more pleasant as a pro coach.
Sure.
But again, you just, everybody has the same issues in college. But the pro life, if that's something he gets a chance to do, I think he would jump back into the pros.
Yeah, so word is Harbaugh has or has been asked to get permission from Michigan, maybe the Dolphins, maybe Minnesota. And I heard driving in, might have been on Shane's show, that I think there's a strong relationship between maybe the Minnesota Vikings general manager and Harbaugh. I think they go back pretty far. Coach, a couple things before we get you out of here. National Signing Day college football #2 is Wednesday. The signing day is Wednesday, and I know in the college game, I mean, signing day now and the portal, but signing day historically was the free agency. I mean, your team, that's your draft. That's your team is built on signing day, and a couple of guys. It appears, Coach, that about 80% of the kids have already signed, but there's a 20% group out there, and there's some big time players out there. And I know Billy Napier's looking to close big and strong.
Yeah, you're right. Most of them have signed 80% or so, but there's still a lot of good quality players that have waited and so forth. Back in our day, this was the signing day. There was no early signing or anything like that. So, and then back in our day in the 90s, it seemed like the kids, they didn't want to commit anywhere. Said, I'll tell everybody on signing day. So we'd sit over there and say, what do you think he's going to do? What do you think he's going to do? And if it was us or FSU, they usually went to FSU. They got about 75% of those kids that seemed to wait, it seemed like. But anyway, that's part of the college game. It's a big part of the college game. Alabama, they win, obviously good coaching, but they win mostly because of recruiting, and even Kirby Smart will tell you that's why we won it at Georgia is we out-recruited almost everybody.
I may be showing my age, Coach, and you may know the answer, but I remember, following recruiting in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, and it was, as you said, one signing day, and the most important piece of equipment on campus was the fax machine. Yeah. Do they still fax them in, or is it different now? I don't know that.
They probably email them
in or something, and it's official. Because you can electronically sign stuff nowadays. You can do an electronic signature. But you remember the old days, Coach, that fax machine was the most important piece of equipment on every campus on that Wednesday.
Yeah, they could sign at their high
school and fax it in. And I guess it was official when it came in, when you got a signature on that thing. But I know a lot of the young people are going, I've heard of fax machine? What is that?
They may email now. You think that's what they do? I'm not sure.
I guess they scan it and sign it and electronic and all. But that fax machine, was it. Coach, we'll let you get about your Monday. Are we missing anything? I know you watched a lot of ball, and anything we need to get hit before we get you out of here?
No, I'll tell you what, just it was, how about that golfer, Luke List?
Oh, yeah, you wanted to bring up the Farmers Open,
Yeah, the Farmers Open out there. They went.
Talk about it.
Zalatoris, that young kid.
Yeah, that kid who stormed on.
Had a chance to make an 7 or 8 footer on the last hole to win it, and it sort of died off left. But this guy, Luke List, shot, I think, 65 or 60, and he waited to the end. He played early, and then everybody just didn't do much. And so he got in the playoff with Zalatoris and birdied the first hole. 37-year-old guy, never won anything. And now he's a champion, and he's like in the top 5 on whatever that list is. That
FedEx list, and he pocketed about $1.5 million, I think. Coach, I happened to look at the scoreboard, and what you said, List came on. He shot a 66, so I scanned down, and there was only one guy shot a 65, but he finished about 12th or 15th. He was way back. So he threw up a 66 to go win that. Billy Horschel was near the top there on the weekend at one point.
Yeah, he was up there. He got on TV a bunch at the end there, and he probably finished in the top 10, 15, something like that.
One other sport I want you to talk about, because you watched a little more than I. I watched after it had already happened, the last part of the Australian Open. My goodness, Nadal, and I know Joker didn't play, but Medvedev had him on the ropes, 2 sets to love, and Nadal was Nadal. What a comeback!
Yeah, that 5th set was dramatic, wasn't it? Yeah, I just happened to flip around, and they were right in that 5th set, and he broke Nadal's serve, and Nadal broke his back right at the end, and served it out to win it. So it was 21. What? He's won 21 majors, so he's the most of all time. One more than Federer. And
Djokovic, I think it is. Federer, Djokovic, and Nadal are the 3. Great crowd, too. And obviously you feel for Medvedev because the crowd was pulling. They wanted to see the history. So the crowd was pro-Nadal. But The one thing I like going back, I saw the results, because it's the time lapse. I saw the results, and then I caught the last couple sets right when Nadal was making his comeback. One thing I did like about the way Nadal won and or Medvedev lost, Medvedev didn't play bad. He didn't play terrible and give away those. Nadal played real well. It was not a matter of Medvedev just blew it. Medvedev had 2 or 3 more chances in those final 3 sets. Nadal just really, and Coach, I know you've hit the tennis ball a million times in your lifetime, and I have as well. To watch those guys just wail on that tennis ball and the way they control that tennis ball is, that's why they're the best in the world.
Yeah. Tennis is...
They smash it, man.
Yeah, my Uncle Bob Spurrier was a tennis pro at Charlotte Country Club, but he's won a bunch of tournaments as amateur and so forth. He never went pro. But like he used to say, the person who wins the point is the one that hits it back in court last.
Yes.
So it's a game of errors.
Yes.
And of course, the pros up there now, they hit it so hard and fast. It's
unbelievable.
You got to do that. But for us amateurs and so forth, just if you can hit it back in play over and over, so it's a game of fewer errors usually wins, fewest mistakes.
And boy, that tennis Grand Slam, just like the golf Grand Slam, it tests. You have to have such a well-rounded game to even come close to the Grand Slam because of the surfaces. You've got a fast surface. The U.S. Open is summertime and fast as hell, right? The French is on clay. Totally different way to play. Wimbledon is on grass. Totally different way to play. Same with golf. They put these Augusta's this and whatever of the 5 British is that, and generally what is it? The U.S. Open is known for the high rough, but boy, they test. You better have a well-rounded game to get close to a Grand Slam in golf or tennis. They test you. Yeah, they really do.
Yeah, it's a good sport.
It is. Yeah, it is good. All right, Coach, we'll let you get your Monday going. Don't forget now, keep your eyes out, and we will publicize like crazy a million different ways. Spurrier's Gridiron Grill Super Bowl watch party. Super Bowl watch party. You're probably going to want to go ahead and secure that. I'm sure it's going to be a, there's going to be a number. And there's going to be a number of people that can get up to visors, and you got to shut it off at some point.
Yeah,
so
Spurrier.com will get you a reservation.
That is the way to do it, but all the details. And before we get out of here and let Coach go, the Orange and Blue game is set now for April the 16th. That is a Saturday, 1 o'clock. Broadcast details coming up. Coach, we'll take a break. Thank you so much again for a Monday, and we'll let you get about your business. We'll wrap up College Sports Today on the other side.
Playing football for 15 years taught me many important things we still use every day fighting for our clients. Things like hard work, toughness, persistence, tenacity. Football taught me when you really want something, you got to be relentless and fight for it every day, not just sometimes. Winning consistently isn't easy. You got to be willing to put in the work and do hard things. I've never taken the easy road, and that's made all the difference in my life. Let me show you what having football tough lawyers can do for you.
All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
Taste the islands and every drop of Vida de Luis tequila. 100% blue agave from Tequila, Mexico. Good
All the
vibes.
good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
It's time to thank the sponsors that make College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell possible. Vida de Luis Tequila, the official tequila of College Sports Today. Make sure you ask for Vida de Luis Tequila by name in your favorite bars and restaurants throughout the state of Florida. And of course,
with your next margarita inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The official seafood restaurants of college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell can be found up and down the Northeast Florida coast. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The proud seafood sponsors of college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell. J.B. Coxwell Contracting, established in 1983 and offering complete site development, go with the company generally considered the most well-respected heavy civil construction firm in Northeast Florida. Go with J.B. Coxwell Construction. For advertising information to get your business on college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell, simply shoot me an email, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. Again, shoot me, Terry Norvell, an email, and I'll get back with you. That email address again, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com.
As always, special thanks to the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier, who joins us here on College Sports Today. Our co-host, we are in Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, open for brunch now, Saturdays and Sundays. Boy, you folks that are tied up working and just at the end of a work day, it's hard to get out Monday through Friday. You're ready to get home and relax after a long work day. Well, brunch is a lot of fun. Boy, treat yourself. Come up on a Saturday or a Sunday, 11 to 3-ish for brunch, and you'll be glad you did. You'll love the atmosphere, the ambiance, and the menu. Chef Mark and his group, they do a great job. Spurrier's Gridiron Grill also hosting a Super Bowl watch party. That comes up, obviously, Super Bowl Sunday. Details coming out. Check out the website all the time. More details will be posted. And I got to believe that there's going to be a finite number that can get in, obviously, and it's going to go fast. So when these details are forthcoming, you might want to act quick. A lot of people are going to want to get out and enjoy a Super Bowl watch party because they were pretty much non-existent this time a year ago with the pandemic going on. Terry Norvell here, wrapping things up on a Monday. Real quick, we talked about Jim Harbaugh. It looks like Harbaugh is being flirting with some NFL franchises and vice versa. Reports have the Vikings and maybe the Dolphins wanting or talking to Jim Harbaugh. I think he will get back into the NFL game. Now, remember the calendar. We're sitting here the last day of January. Jim Harbaugh, if he goes to the NFL, this is just one more example, and it gives fuel to the portal fire, if you will. People love the portal, hate the portal, agree, disagree, wherever you fall. And I won't blame Jim Harbaugh, but I'll use him as an example. If he signs with an NFL team here in the next several days and he takes off, think about that. A coach can take off at the drop of a hat late in the process. Matter of fact, Wednesday's signing day number 2. That's more fuel to the pro portal people out there saying, hey, the portal needs to be available, and a one-time transfer addendum needs to be out there to make it fair for the player. The coaches can do it, and the players can do it. So just more fuel to the fire if Harbaugh takes off this late in the process. He's had guys sign with him back in December to go and play for him at Michigan. He's recruited guys. Signing day is Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, signing day number 2. So more pro portal argument if you see a coach do what Harbaugh, I think, will do late in the process, leave his college and go for a different opportunity. Also, remember, we talked about, I mentioned it earlier in the show, that the Florida Orange and Blue football game has now been set. UF sent out a release earlier. The Billy Napier debut Orange and Blue game will be Saturday, April 16th. Mark that down, 1 o'clock, the Orange and Blue game with Billy Napier really making his debut as the Florida coach publicly anyway. Saturday, April 16th, 1 o'clock. No broadcast TV details yet, but certainly it will be broadcast. But if you're making plans, there is your day, April 16th. And that is generally going to be the day that a bunch of them, there's different Saturdays, but the majority will be on that Saturday, April 16th. Also, I've been telling you folks for a couple of weeks now to remember May 1st is the portal transfer deadline. And it all goes hand in hand. All your spring games will wrap up pretty much early to mid-April. Spring football will be done. May 1st is you have to declare, if you're going to transfer out of the school, the program you're at right now, you have to do it by May 1st to be eligible for the 2022 upcoming college football season. So that all kind of goes hand in hand. That May 1st date
is just after all the spring games, because coaches want to know their rosters going into August preseason camp. Seems like a long way away, but it'll be here hopefully before we know it. That'll wrap it up. Hope you enjoyed the show. Coach Spurrier, some great insight about the NFL games that were played yesterday and a quick peek ahead to the Super Bowl. If you want to follow that, if you missed that, we archive all these shows on Facebook, our Facebook Live page, and also you folks on the podcast that are listening or want to follow the show on podcast platforms. We're on all the leading podcast platforms. That'll wrap it up. I want to thank the head ball coach again, all the good folks here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill for hosting us, and, of course, our producer, Evan Miller. For those folks